Hey, Chrissy here. I am a landscape architect and the owner of Kismet Design. I am a very process-driven designer, and I love sharing what I do and how I do it with anyone who's interested. Reaching your true potential and achieving your own personal goals will not happen by chance. You have to set your intentions, make a plan, and do the work. Thank you for joining me to nerd out on design. Don't forget to subscribe and to share too. Let's create something great together. Balance is a very common topic lately. It seems everyone is talking about work-life balance, but there really isn't a quantifiable definition of what that really means. That is because it will be different for everyone. Many times it feels like to achieve this balance, one side has to suffer, but it doesn't. It is all about developing the mindset and sticking with it, knowing that the outcome is totally worth it. I've said it before, but I'll say it again. There's great power in consistency, be it in business or personal life. There's no denying that consistency is a tool that never fails. If you consistently show up and put in the work, you will see the benefits. Consistently going to the gym and the results, although not instant, will be undeniable. Consistently eating unhealthy? Well, you get the idea. Consistency can have both positive and negative outcomes, depending on what it is that you do consistently and if it is productive and healthy. Showing up consistently for your business can and will have great results. One thing you can't do consistently is say yes to everything. It is okay and actually really good to say no sometimes and show yourself some love. Having good boundaries is important to be able to ensure that you can sustainably show up without burning out. Consistency only works when it can be maintained over a long period of time. Creating consistent habits of when and how you show up in your business or your job also lessens the mental effort it takes to show up. Each time you repeat an action or an activity, it gets a little easier and eventually becomes somewhat of a muscle memory. This is how creating and sticking to a process can really benefit your workflow and helping to create those good habits. Having a consistent process that you don't have to think about or decide which step should come next will free up mental energy to pour into your other tasks. There will inevitably be times when the process needs to be altered or when a repetitive task needs to be skipped. But that happens when you need to skip an instance or two. Just hop right back and schedule it as soon as you're able to. For key employees or business owners, it can be really difficult to step off the treadmill, to take some time off, whether that is for vacation or just to catch up on other important tasks. It can also be a challenge to say no when asked to veer from your standard process, deliverables, or hours of operation, when you want to say yes as a means to providing great service. As we all know, this is how burnout happens. Yet it can be really challenging to let go for a moment to catch your breath. Learning how to and becoming better at saying no is a recurring theme among many professionals, but I think especially among creative professionals. Entrepreneurs often turn the art of saying no into a high ropes course. I am a people pleaser and I strive to consistently be adding value to those around me, especially my clients. But I find when I do not say no when I know that I should, it often is at the expense of my personal life, be it my stress level or at the cost of my family time. I have set boundaries for myself and my business for both me and my employees that we do not work evenings or weekends to ensure we are able to be fully present with our families and have lives outside of work. We all have young children. Mine are very busy with sports as well. Being able to be present and available to our families is a value that we do not compromise on. And that is a big reason why a lot of entrepreneurs go into business for themselves, to have that flexibility and the ability to be more present with their families. Taking vacations or even a long weekend to go camping or to celebrate a birthday or a holiday is important, but it can sometimes lead me to feeling guilty or stressed about leaving the work. But I have to remind myself that I am not a brain surgeon. Nothing I am doing is a matter of life and death. Maybe for a plant, but hey, that can be easily replaced. If I leave for a 3-day weekend, everything can wait until Monday. Just last week, I took a couple of days off to go camping with my family for my birthday. Leading up to the trip, I wavered multiple times on if I should be taking the time away, but thankfully I did, and it was totally worth it. I enjoyed every minute. Now I can re enter my business feeling refreshed and energized. Yes, catching up on emails can be a bit daunting, but if I don't make it through all of them on Monday, they'll still be there by Tuesday. Determining when and what to say yes or no to can be tricky. Being self aware of your tendencies and knowing the values and boundaries that you want to uphold will help to filter your decisions. It is also important to have a clear understanding of your services and your ideal client so that you're able to say yes to all of the good ones and know when to say no to those that aren't a good fit. Over the years, it has become very apparent that each time I say yes to something I shouldn't, it often leads to having to say no to something I really wish I could say yes to. It helps me immensely to keep this in mind, that each no leads to a great yes opportunity, and each yes will result in needing to say no to something else. Each yes equals a no, and each no equals a yes. That may sound a bit like who's on first, but when you sort it out, hopefully that makes sense. It is like the old adage, when one door closes, another opens. I know it's cliche, but there's a reason that the phrase is used so often. Defining what your ideal work-life balance looks like and setting and sticking to your boundaries will ensure that it is attainable, but it can be tricky, but worth it. It is also important to know that this equation will need to change over time. Your business will grow as you grow. As you and your business both grow and circumstances change, the ideal work-life balance will likely shift and look very different. Being a sole proprietor with a new business where you have to do everything yourself and really push to get traction will look very different than the balance will look once you have a business that is established or you have employees who you are able to delegate to. That work-life balance will need to grow as your business grows and develops and becomes established. Knowing your values, priorities, and goals for each stage of life or business, or both, will help to set and attain the balance you want and need. So, how do you define and set those boundaries and define what your ideal yes is? Start with your core values. If you have a larger company, you may have a different set of core values for your business than you do for your personal ones. But for those of us who are sole proprietors or have small teams, the values are likely the same. If you've never done this, it's a really good exercise. Start with writing down a couple experiences where you felt the most confident, happy, or energized. And then list a few projects or accomplishments that stick out in your mind as key milestones or reflections of your ideal standard that you want to achieve on a regular basis. List some of your goals. It is important to look at both personal and professional goals as they are intimately intertwined. Now review this. Write down a list of recurring themes or ideas that these things all have in common. Is it family, freedom of time, trust, efficiency, security, creativity, impact, service, you name it? If you're having trouble coming up with the right words, there are many resources online that can help. Once you've done that, go back through the list and evaluate which of these are the most important, and then review again for clarity. You can probably even Google and find a couple worksheets that will take you through a step-by-step process to really get down to the best words. Once you've determined your top 3, you can refer back to them as a filter for decision making. These will work to keep you working towards your goals and keep you true to your values while giving you solid justification, helping you to feel better when you do say no, that it is in your best interest and is a solid decision with a basis based in your core values. The same words will help you to better define your boundaries. For example, if family is one of your top 3 values, it will be easy to set some time boundaries around working hours to prioritize your family time. If you do not have kids currently, this may not be one of your top values, but someday, if you do have children, it may end up displacing another value that you currently have. The season of life and your career that you're in will have a significant influence on your views of these values and how they affect your boundaries. And they will constantly be changing and flowing to a point. I think we all still have kind of some of those same core values, but some of the season of life can have an effect on kind of the order of those or which ones take top priority. Last, I think it's important to reiterate that not every boundary is rigid, and there will be exceptions on occasion. If you know which of your boundaries are rigid and which are not, you can better decide when the rules can be broken. Because what creative entrepreneur doesn't look to break the rules? Either way, it is important to be confident in your decision, not to feel guilty or apologetic for making decisions that are in your best interest for you or your business. The yeses you will make will be better yeses, and the more you give yourself permission to say no. This all leads to a happier, more fulfilling workflow and balance so that you can choose to close your computer each evening with a smile on your face and open it the next morning feeling energized and excited to get back to it. To wrap up, I want to thank you for your time. I hope the ideas discussed today have left you feeling excited and energized. As I build both my business and my life, I value the support and feedback you provide. I would love for you to reach out to me to let me know what you think, give me ideas, or just to connect. Please don't forget to subscribe and also share with a friend. Until next time, go create something wonderful.